Hey there, Ralph Covert here. Welcome to Waterdog. Welcome to my songwriting class. Today I want to talk about narrative structure, storytelling. Not all songs have to tell stories, but it's a great tool, and there's a great range of different ways you can tell stories within your songs. One of the limitations of storytelling in a song is also one of its greatest strengths. You've got, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes if you really stretch it big to tell your story. You compare that to, 300 pages of a novel or 2-3 hours of a movie, or if take one of these extended TV dramas. I mean, you could have 100 episodes of 42 minutes each to spin your story and all the details and all the nuances. So you've got 3 minutes in a song. You're going to have to make some choices. So let's talk about what some of those choices are. And to begin with, a traditional story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the story you're telling within your song will have a beginning and a middle and an end, but you don't need to include them all. You may choose to, but you don't have to. So you can take whatever the complete arc of the story that you've got and find a way to be specific and condense it into that short time period. Or you can maybe just zoom in on one particular part or even one moment. One of the things you can do in a song is that's tough to do in some of these other mediums. It's one of the great secret strengths of songs is you can take one moment and kind of pivot and reflect within that moment. So as you tell a story within a song, you can tell it from that place of being trapped within that one particular spot in the story, kind of like a soliloquy or a monologue might be in a play. So you can tell that story within that suspended moment and really expand upon that experience. That's something that's kind of unique to songs. So one of the key pieces, as I kind of alluded to, but one of the key pieces of storytelling in a song is be specific. So if you're telling a story about some people that fell in love, okay, a little ditty about Jack and Diane, bam, he's got you hooked, right? These are real people. He's used their names. The more specific details you throw in, the more you can really engage your listener in the specific story you're telling. And I will have another video about using specific details. It's a fabulous, fabulous technique. Now, there's a continuum. You could talk about somebody's full life, their full story, or one moment in it. You could tell a story that has very explicit and specific meanings where the listener knows exactly what you're talking about. Or you can tell a story where you're maybe a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more vague about the story you're telling. They can fill in the details themselves about what you're trying to say. And then there's a whole range of choices that you can make regarding the narrator of the story. Now, you as the songwriter, in a sense, are always the narrator, but what mask you choose to put on to tell that story can be a very compelling part of how you put the song together. On the most basic level, you've got some of the point of view choices you can make, whether it's first person, which is I, so all your sentences in the song are told from the I was walking down the street, I experienced this. You could have a second person point of view, which is very, very rarely used in literature, is more used in songwriting. It's not used a ton, but it's more frequent in songs. That's you. So I'm speaking to you, the listener, are doing this. You are feeling that. Sometimes that kind of, because you've got in a song, you've got me singing it to you, that kind of lends kind of a blend of that first and second person point of view. And then a third person point of view, you're telling the story from a he, she, he did this, she did that, John was walking down the street. So point of view, you've got first person, second person, third person. And then another great range of choices that people don't think about in their songwriting is the verb tense that you're telling the story from, meaning I could be telling the story in present tense. I'm feeling this, I'm here, I miss you, I love you. Or you could tell the story in past tense, right? He was alone in a room. I missed you. I was thinking about you. So the story is taking place in the past, and it's being told from that perspective versus it's being experienced right now. Or it could be you could tell a story that is in the future. She will be this, you will, I will. This has not happened yet. So it's kind of projecting a future world. And those are really, people tend to not choose those, they just kind of tend to fall into them. But future tense is less used in the same way that second person tense is less used. So those could be some interesting choices that might take you to an unusual point of view. And then the other thing you can do within your narrator construct is you can be the narrator who is telling the story, kind of an all-knowing narrator, or you can also, even though you're still the narrator, you can tell it from the point of view of being a character, being a voice, one voice within this story, in the same way that you might in a musical, or you might, a real singer-songwriter-y type song. They're going to be pouring their perspective, their story out. Now, as we know from the other work we've done, some of these voices, some of these characters are going to be who you are, and some of them are going to be characters you made up and stories that are more fictional, and some are going to be a blend of the two. So don't feel that you have to be either in one camp or the other. You can kind of, any well-told story that's a made-up character is going to include a lot of who you are in that story. So I wanted to do a song here that uses a narrative structure, and this one kind of really is pretty. It tries to get it all in. So this is a song called Raspberry Jam. Originally appeared on the Birthday album, and there's a live version on the 5,000 Days album by the Bad Examples. It's a live favorite. People enjoy this song. In it, I fitted a guy's entire life in the 3 minutes we've got to work with. So it really required me when I wrote it to be very specific, but also to choose what to leave out. So you'll notice I use his name, but I don't use his wife or children's names, even though they're characters in the story, because I need to keep it focused. You'll see how in the structure of the song, in the different verses, I touch upon different periods of his life and try to do so in a way that it's almost like looking at snapshots or photographs, so you really kind of get a sense of who this person is. And then tie it all back together. Even from the beginning, there's a sense that it's over, because kind of the refrain line that keeps coming back is how it slipped away like a coin through the cracks, like raspberry jam he ate as a kid. So even from the point in the song where he's a child, we're talking about the fact that the theme that's happening is it slipped away from him, like raspberry jam. He savoring those moments. So go out there, tell a good story, engage your listener, spin a yarn, surprise yourself with the story you come up with, find details and plot twists that make it interesting to you, and it'll make it interesting to your listeners as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you like the song. Hope you like the class, and we'll see you soon. in a flash. Turned around and it had slipped through the cracks. No one to tell him how to bring it back. Slipped away like the smoke from his lips, like the raspberry jam he ate as a kid. Raspberry jam. Well, he found a pretty little wife. John was always there to depend on, and he took his kids to the zoo. Turned around and it had slipped through the cracks. No one to tell him how to bring it back. Slipped away like the smoke from his lips, like the raspberry jam he ate as a kid. Raspberry jam. Well, he aged as graceful as wine. John looked elegant with gray in his hair, and the doctor said he would die. Near the end in the hospital bed, he said, "It's not I'm unhappy, I'm just feeling sad that I never took the time to chase the dreams I always wanted to taste." Raspberry jam. Well, the sun shone like a rotten peach. John was buried on a sunny day, and his wife and children all cried. Turned around and it had slipped through the cracks. No one to tell